Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Marcy, and today I'm making a basic red chili sauce from chili powder using a recipe that was highly recommended to me. And I'm going to be making it with ground beef and using it for enchiladas, but you can use this sauce for anything you'd like. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that my preferred method for making red chili sauce is from dried chili pods. But I think it's really important to know how to make chili from powder because it's easier to find and it also keeps longer. So hang on to this recipe because I know you're going to be using it again and again. This recipe comes from an old cookbook called New Mexican Dishes by Filomena Romero. It was printed in 1970 in Los Alamos, New Mexico, so it is long out of print, but people still search for this cookbook today, and believe it or not, it's sold online for hundreds of dollars. Fortunately for me, one of my viewers, Kent Kelly of Albuquerque, sent me this recipe. He says that he has been making it for years, and he says it's quite tasty, particularly if you use a good quality New Mexico chili powder from either Hatch or La Mitar, New Mexico. Now, typically I buy my red chili powder in Hatch every year, but I was recently gifted this bag of red chili powder from La Mitar by the actual farmer who grew it. And you can see that it is just gorgeous in color and the flavor is fantastic. So I'm thrilled I'll be able to use that today. Now, I do know that I'm spoiled because I live in this part of New Mexico where chili like this is readily available to me. But if you live in another part of the country, check the ethnic aisle of your grocery store. And if you can find spices in these packets, the brand Handy Pack is made in El Paso, which is just down the road from here, and they use actual New Mexico chili in their chili powder. So if you don't see this, then maybe request it at your grocery store. I'll also put where you can buy New Mexico red chili powder in my Amazon storefront, so check the description box. But let's get back to this recipe, and it basically calls for anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup of New Mexico red chili powder. So I'm going to cut this right down the middle and go with 1/3 of a cup. You'll also need 3 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, 2 cups of water, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon oregano, Mexican oregano, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic salt. Now, typically when I make my chili using the pods, I run it through the blender and I puree it. So I'll use fresh garlic and I'll use whole oregano. But if you're going to be making it from powder, you're going to want to get ground oregano and also powdered garlic powder or garlic salt, because you don't want to have the texture be ruined by big pieces in there. So again, you want to go with powder form. Now, I also have my ground beef. I'm using a pound of ground beef. I've got my corn tortillas and a combination of Munster and cheddar cheese, just working with what I have in the fridge. But again, this is just for the enchiladas. This recipe that I'm sharing today is for the sauce, but I'll show you how I make that too. So let's go ahead and get started. I first heat up a large skillet with 2 tablespoons of oil in it. As soon as it gets hot, I can brown the ground beef in it, breaking it up as it cooks. When it's almost fully cooked, you'll want to add in the flour and mix well. Let it cook for a few minutes to get the flour taste out. And this is going to help thicken our sauce. Then remove the pan from the fire and add the chili powder. Give it a good mix and add the water. Then you return the pan back to the fire. Keep stirring and let it come to a boil. Once it boils, add the salt, the garlic salt, and the ground oregano. Get that all mixed in. And now I set the burner to low and we let it simmer for 10 minutes and then it'll be done. So while I'm waiting for that, in the meantime, I want to show you some video of the snow that we got last weekend. It was so beautiful. It started early in the morning and it just covered everything in this blanket of white. And I especially love when you see desert cactus covered in snow. There's something about it that to me is so magical. Of course, it didn't last very long, but the Oregon mountains did stay white. And I absolutely love that. So I just wanted to share that with you. I know those of you who live in areas that get a lot of snow, this is absolutely nothing for you. But for us here in southern New Mexico, it's kind of a big deal. And if you were watching my video last week, you saw that we were getting a new roof installed on our house. And the roofers were working so fast because they knew this storm was coming. So they got everything sealed before the rain started and then the snow. They're not quite done yet, but the important parts were taken care of. So our roof is perfectly fine. And in fact, they should be done here in a couple of days. After simmering for 10 minutes, you're left with a beautiful and flavorful red chili sauce that you can use any number of ways. Kent tells me that he likes to use this sauce for carne adobada, and he also uses it to smother his burritos. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna make some enchiladas. So I've already grated my cheese and I diced up some onion. Now I'm just gonna fry up some corn tortillas and we'll be eating real soon. Now here in New Mexico, we make our enchiladas flat. We will make them rolled once in a while, but for the most part, you'll find enchiladas flat, sort of like pancakes. So that's what I'm doing today. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna cover them up and then I'll put the next layer. I'll add some cheese and a little onion. Now here's an idea for you because I know that Valentine's Day is coming up. You can cut your corn tortillas in the shape of a heart. One of my aunts did that quite a few years back and I wasn't even there, but my mom told me all about it. And I never forgot, I always thought it was the most creative thing. But there you go, there's the first layer. Let me do another one. Now, I typically will do a stack of 3 corn tortillas per serving. Whoops. And this recipe is probably enough for at least 3 servings. It's a little trickier when there's meat on there. If it was just the chili sauce, you could easily just dip it and then stack it. Another thing that we like to do is we will put a fried egg on top of our enchiladas. And then you have the yolk running over it, and it is heavenly. But I'm just gonna do this so that we can taste this, and then I'll make another plate for Tony. But this looks fantastic. All right, let me just grab a fork and we'll give this a try. Now, I will say that if you let it sit for just a couple minutes, the cheese will melt just from the heat from the enchiladas. But if not, you can stick it in the microwave for just a few seconds and you'll get that melty effect. Or a lot of times what I do, especially when I'm making enchiladas for the whole family, doing it like this, single serve, I'll put them in the oven at just a real low temperature just to keep everything warm. That way, when we all go to sit down and eat, everyone's are nice and hot and melty at the same time. So just in that short amount of time, just in me talking, this is already starting to look more melted. So let's go ahead and give this a try. All right, here we go. Oh wow, this is so incredibly delicious. My chili's a little on the hot side, but I really like it like that. This is just a wonderful recipe, super versatile, like we've been saying. You can use it for any number of dishes that you're making. I want to thank Kent for sending me this recipe, and thank you for watching. I hope you all give this recipe a try. A printable copy of this recipe can be found on my website at marcyinspired.com. If you enjoyed watching, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I also invite you to follow me for more content at Marcy Inspired on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, blessings from my kitchen to yours.